I know we will talk a lot about your background here, but just start with wide receivers for me. Give me a little look at the guys at your position.
Yeah, we got a pretty good group right now. I think when you're this early in the process, especially coming in as a new staff, we're still trying to figure out where everybody fits. You know, we've been lucky. We've had a few guys come in with us that know the system, that have been in the system, so they've helped the other receivers kind of learn what they're doing and set an example for those guys. And then we have a lot of other guys that have been here. So right now our job as coaches, and specifically the receivers coaches, is figuring out where everyone fits, you know, because there are times where we're going to have 4 wide receivers on the field. There's times we're going to have 5, sometimes we'll have 3, sometimes we'll have 2. So that's been a big job of ours this spring, is figuring out, okay, who are the best players to be in what positions, right? So we ask a lot of our receivers, and those guys have been doing a good job. But what I'm stressing and what Coach Rod is stressing for them is learning to play every position, because that's going to be the quickest way on the field. But they've been learning each week and getting better and better, so that's been really good to see.
How unique is what you ask receivers in this system? Is it a ton different than everybody else? Just a little bit? What is it?
I mean, everybody does different stuff right now in college football, but there's a lot of spread offenses in the country. I think where we're unique is our tempo and the way we use it. You know, if you watch our guys, most of the time when they're at X and Z, which are our 2 wideouts, they're not going to swap sides of the field. So as we're playing really fast, they have to know how to play numerous positions as the ball moves hashes. So they need to know, I might start out as X, but as we're going down the field, now I'm playing Z. Now I'm back at X. Now I'm moving somewhere else. So they have to learn a little bit more, probably. But I think they get a lot of one-on-one matchups. We ask them to run downfield a lot. Now, whether that be shooting shots downfield or getting downfield and blocking their butts off on the perimeter, you know, we're asking them to strain every play. You won't see our receivers standing around and watching while you see us play. You're going to see guys constantly moving and constantly working. So we're challenging those guys. We tell them they've got to be in the best shape of anybody in the country and definitely anybody on the field. So, you know, there are other teams that do similar stuff to us, but I think our guys need to be in better shape than anybody in the country.
What's your evaluation of Rodney Gallagher in particular? He was a big-time recruit here. This is his 3rd year. He did stick around.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him that you can give us? And what did you even know about him? Because he was a big deal coming out of high school.
Right. Yeah, I remember Rodney coming out of high school, watching his film. You know, you always watch the best receivers in the country. He was a highly rated kid. I actually remember him playing. I think he was on some sort of travel basketball team, big basketball team. So I saw something about. That's how I found him. As a receiver, when I started recruiting him, you know, it would have been our first year at Jack State, maybe, when he was coming out. So I actually reached out to him, but I found him in a clip of him playing basketball. And I like receivers that are athletic and play a lot of other sports. So that was my first introduction to Rodney Gallagher. You know, to be honest, the last few years I've been focused on Jack State. I wasn't paying attention to other programs at the time, but I knew he went here. When we got here, obviously I've watched some film. Now, you try not to make too many predetermined judgments on your guys before they work. But I've been impressed this spring with his ball skills. I think when we go back and look, he's shown the ability to make some plays downfield. And, you know, Rodney's a guy who's played a million different positions, right? So he's still learning how to play wide receiver, and we've seen him take strides, but he's going to be a guy that we're constantly pushing and expect to be able to play all 4 spots in our offense. So it's been good. I think what stands out to me about Rodney is he's a really, really great kid. You know, from the time we got here, there was never any animosity to him or anything. It was always, Coach, what do you need from us? You know, he's here, he's working hard. So it's been good to see, and hopefully he can continue to develop and really, really help us this year.
A little bit more detail about multi-sport athletes out of high school, especially like very dynamic ones, very successful ones in multiple sports. What do you like about them, and what do they bring that, you know, just a regular old guy who might just only play football doesn't?
Right. I think back to when I was in high school. You know, the best athletes in the school, all the coaches want them to play every sport, right? So if I was a high school basketball coach and we had a stud receiver, I wouldn't let his butt walk around the hallways without playing basketball. I mean, I'd be pestering him every day, you know. So to me, if you're an elite athlete, which the wideouts need to be the best athletes on the field, they've got to be able to run fast. They've got to be able to jump, to high point the ball. They've got to be strong. They've got to be able to get in and out of breaks. That transitions into specifically basketball and track, and a lot of times playing outfield in baseball, I think, is a good sign. You know, we've had success with some guys that have been good center fielders. I love watching the basketball film. You know, as we evaluate prospects, I like seeing them play basketball. I like them going down the court. I think you can see a lot in changing direction. Obviously, if a guy's running down the court, dunking on people and going up and getting rebounds, you know, that translates directly into wide receiver play. If I can go up, judge that ball coming off the rim to high point, pull it away, you see a lot of that. So that's something that we actually, you know, right now we're early in our recruiting process, but we've been evaluating a lot of basketball film this time of year with high school basketball seasons just ending. But we love those multi-sport guys.
Thoughts on Jaden Bray? I mean, he's really hasn't had much of a body of work. He's been injured last year, but got a lot of natural ability. How do you get that out of him?
Yeah, I think it's up to Bray to get it out of himself. You know, we're going to push him and give him every opportunity. And to his credit, he has done a phenomenal job busting his butt the whole time we've been here. But you said it, he's got a ton of ability. And whatever, he had an injury or I don't know what all happened last year, but he's a guy that has been really exciting to work with. He comes with a great attitude every day. I think he is excited right now for his opportunity. You know, he's another guy who coming in as a new coach, he didn't give any pushback. He's been totally open to trying to learn this offense. And, you know, I think he fits what we do pretty well.